purpose has seemed to have been buried in endless miles of graveyard of content. And meaning of life has been stolen away from every single one of us. From you, from me. In a world where it seems violence, fear, and distress is the top performers of all time, where do we find ourselves placed in that world? Where do you find yourself when you've been distracted for so long that every purpose that you have ever known or desired seems to disappear? What is your North Star? And by the time that you realize that that purpose has been stolen from you, it's already too late. So then one question remains. How do you get back on the path that you've chosen for yourself? So I believe that the world and most of humanity, looking at the workplace, most people no longer want to strive to get money. And it seems like a loneliness pandemic or a laziness pandemic, but that's not actually what it is. I believe that it's the world is in suspension right now. In suspension from what the goal is, why we're even doing it, and if the world is no longer under our individual control, then what's the point on going down any path worthwhile at all? The elites control the world. They make decisions that pour us into poverty and economic strife, hunger. Property taxes are through the roof that steal our property and our belongings. Where is the purpose? This is a fundamental question that we have to ask ourselves. I can't give you purpose. The world can't give us purpose. And everything that we're seeing on the world stage right now cannot give us purpose. That only leads to further loneliness, the further need to escape ourselves. Because who wants to live in a world of terror? Who wants to live in a world whose only meaning is to steal your attention? Well, let me tell you, the purpose is in the searching. The purpose is in the discovery. Oftentimes, I look at my son and I say, what do you want to do with your life? Not knowing that the question I'm asking him is fundamentally flawed. Because the answer I expect from him is to give me a concrete answer of where he's going. But I have discovered in my years that knowing where I'm going evolves from moment to moment. There's no way that I can choose a single path at any given time. I can choose a direction. And that direction for me in this moment is helping people bring their mind back into the body. I don't know what my son wants. I don't know what the people in the workforce want. I don't know what the loneliness pandemic or the laziness pandemic is a result of. I don't know how purpose is going to be birthed out of that. I don't know how purpose is going to be birthed out of the world in chaos right now. But I do know how to find purpose. I do know how to find purpose. And here is what I found. When we bring our mind back into the body, which is one thing that I continue to say, there's a purpose why I say that. I say bring the mind back into the body is because when we're here in our body, when we're thinking about what we're doing and doing what we're thinking, then we get to discover who we are and how we affect the world. And from that discovery is birthed our purpose. Our purpose, our true meaning, what our empathy really holds. I was thinking about this, the feelings, because my philosophy has always been fuck your feelings. Not in the sense that they're not valid, in the sense that they will impede growth. They will allow us to step into fear rather than love. And I was thinking about the spectrum of feelings. And the spectrum of feelings, a lot of them on the bottom lower spectrum are very inward, directed selfishly. Self, greed, pride, ego, all of those are inward. Ideas about self. And this is where fear lives as well. This idea about self. And any purpose that I find that is birthed from that idea of self is inherently going to lead to a dead end, futility and unhappiness. But if I can get to the other side of the spectrum, where love, happiness, joy, freedom, creativity, where those live, if I can get to that side, those seem to be directed outward through connection with other people, through connection with everyone on the planet, through connection with my son, through my lady, with a complete stranger that I just want to know how their day is because they look absolutely miserable. So when I do bring my man back into the body to loop back around to this, and all of the purpose that I'm finding is in those lower spectrums of feelings, then I'm continuing to direct myself inward. And we, as individual humans, have lived in a traumatic and exhausting lifetime. And so when I do look at those feelings inward, the first thing I want to do is recoil from it and escape again. And the easiest way to escape? Scroll. Social media. The digital world. For me, you have your vices. How do you escape your body? And then when you do bring your mind back into the body, what makes you run away? But when we can get to the other side, we stop trying to escape ourself because we are connecting outward. We're connecting with people. And so imagine your attention like this. You're walking down a street and all of the houses on lefts and rights are all the same color. But sometimes there's a red house that shows up and you automatically gravitate towards that. That's when all the houses are the same. But what happens when all of the houses are very different? Then your attention goes to each one. In awe, aspiring, looking at the beauty of each house. And you forget that you've been walking down the road for 20 minutes. This is our attention. And the world has lined up different colored houses, different designs, more ornate than the last, more flashy than the other, cosmetically and aesthetically so appeasing that we want to see what the next one is. How beautiful and big is the next one? And we forget that our feet are moving. We forget the air that we're breathing. We forget the thoughts that want to interact with us. We forget ourselves. We forget we're in this body. Every single world event is a house. Every single fear elicitation that you see on the news, the media, on your phone is a house. And the longer we stay outside of our body, the less and less we're able to adjust and appreciate the duality of our feelings. The longer we're outside of our body, the more unsafe it feels to be inside of it. The more unsafe we feel inside ourselves, the less purpose we have. We start losing trust, and down the rabbit hole we go, down the spiral we go. And then we have to find something to latch onto just long enough to stay away from ourselves. And the longer we stay away from ourselves, the less connection we have with other humans, other people. Do you want to live like that? How do we feel safe about being in our body? Not safe in a security sense, but safe in the way that we are able to deal and manage and appreciate the feelings of uncertainty, of discovery, long enough to find meaning and purpose in our life. I wish I can give you a purpose. I wish I can give you meaning. But you are an individual expression. The meaning that you decide, the meaning that you choose, that is birthed from those outward feelings for other people, is ultimately your choice, if you choose it. It is nobody else's. How on earth are you going to be able to know that if you don't like what you see inside? If it feels like it was curated? If every time you do, you have this emotional response, this belief being challenged by everything you see? What is your purpose? And if you can't answer that, join me. I invite you to get the Identity Rebuild Kit. We're all going down a certain direction. We're all on this planet moving in the same direction. Grab a hold of something. Grab a hold of something and bring somebody else with you. And they'll bring somebody else with them. And bring another person. And start connecting, building community, loving each other. And if you don't know how to do that, if you do know how to do that, but for some reason you keep getting distracted and you find yourself not becoming that, then watch this next video. I love y'all. Peace.